Hey guys, this is Gene. This is the third time I've had to do this because when I go through the YouTube app, it's not recording my voice, and I know my voice is so sexual. I'm just joking. So, what do you guys think about that draw? I think it's okay. I just wish we'd got a different. I would love to have Celtic uh, for the last team to come out. It'd have been hard anyway, but it's a lot closer for us, and we can. But now we have to go to Turkey. That's a long flight, and being I'm an old school United team fan, I know the issues we've had in Turkey in the past with a really good team. Although back then the whole thing about the four and couldn't really put our first team out there. Um, and Galatasaray have decent players, and of course they'll be up because it'll be Manchester United and in their stadium. It's going to be a hard game. You would hope that we'd at least win at home against that team. We should win at home against Copenhagen. Hopefully, get the same result on the road and get either a couple draws or get a win at home. I figure if we can get the win at home against Bayern, let's say we win our home games, it's not that'd be 9 points, and if we get a draw on the road um, at Bayern, which we won't, let's just say we lose that game, and then we get a draw at Galatasaray and beat Copenhagen, we'd have 12 points, right? Is that right? That'd be 13 games, or that'd be 13 points. We're not going to get that. Wait a second. There's 6 games, right? So 3 teams, you have 6 games. The most we can get is 18 points, and if we win all the games at home and one on the road, that'd be 12. And that would be enough. It'd be enough to get past. We probably wouldn't win the group, but if we just win at home, which we probably won't. We'll probably draw against Bayern, win the other games, and then have to win one on the road, and we might get like 10 points at that point. Anyway, I don't think it's a really bad draw. It will be tough, but we need that. We can't go into these things thinking we have it, like against Sevilla. We do this all the time. We should clearly beat this team, and we were up after 20 minutes, looking like we're going to win and move on, but we didn't. So I think Bayern is going to be tough. I think Bayern will be the team that gets the last four, either be in the final or they're going to be in the semifinals. They have the player that they need. Um, they always have a lot of opportunities, and unfortunately, they haven't had. Even though Lewandowski was there a couple years ago, he didn't make the right goals at the right time. He had many chances and didn't put them away. I think that Kane is a higher level of striker. It's very possible, it'd be just like what happened with Sheringham. Sheringham left Spurs, came to us, and then won everything the next year. I think that could happen with him as well. I think he can go um, to win the German league, of course, and they'll probably win one of the cups there, and they'll probably be in the finals or in the top four or the last four. The only person they really have to be concerned about is probably City, but City got such an easy draw, so they're going to put out the second team out there. It's going to be just shocking. You'll be watching those games, and half the stadium will not be there. I mean, they're not going to fill up for teams like that they're getting in their group. Arsenal has an okay group. They always do pretty well against the Spanish teams. I, I think they'll get through. I think that the only American or the only Premiership team that's going to have a really tough time is going to be Newcastle. They're in a very bad position, but I think they'll love it. These are good teams that they're going to play, and it's going to be great under the lights there in James Park. I think they'll shock them a couple places. I think maybe they might win on PSG. They might win on the road. Um, so I wouldn't count them out, but it's very possible they'll end up falling in the Europa League, which is probably where they need to be anyway. But I don't think they'd want to do that. They don't want to be playing on Thursday nights. It's going to be very difficult for them to get in the top four this year again. They didn't really do anything up front that shows him more scoring. I think they needed a real striker or something. But who knows? We'll see. I think overall they're a good team. They're like Brighton, just a little bit better. But I think Brighton is just you know I like how they play, but they don't have the greatest players. But you can have if you have a good team, you can do well. But this year, the Champions League is down again, like it was last year. Don't have really super teams other than maybe City, and I don't really. Again, I don't think City, no matter what they do, I don't. They don't compare to the teams 10 or 15 years ago. The Barcelona team that won their 3 and 5 years or whatever. What we did, I just Chelsea. I just don't think they're that good. Now I am a little bit biased, but not really. Um, Obviously, Pep changed the game, right? So everybody tries to do what they do, but it's not as good. I guess the spectacle of the game, the aesthetic of the game is just not as good as it used to be, and that's just you always go back and say, oh, it was so good back then. No, in 2008, 2007, 2009, 2010, us in Barcelona. I mean, just the way that we played, it's just a better brand of football, and I think we have better players than they do. Um, and we were bigger, stronger. I don't know. We manhandled people. We don't really have that anymore. Our team is very small. That's another issue that we're having. We're getting thrown around in the midfield because we are not very physical at all. But anyway, City's going to roll away. They're going to easily win that group. They might not even give up a goal. They might actually get 18 points in that group. But again, they also go out and they don't shit. They could have lost the last league game they're in, or they could have drawn it. So you never know. It's going to be difficult for them to try to repeat. But if they continue to get this type of draw all the way to the finals, and they only had to play one decent person in the finals, well, who knows? They didn't really play well against Inter, but they got the goal and they won. So, well, let me know in the comments what you think about the draw. And if I didn't really tell you what it was, we got Copenhagen, we got Galatasaray, and we got Bayern Munich. Bayern München. Um, they'll be good names. And the good thing about that is that Bayern Munich respects us. They respect what the team is, right? The history of the team. They're not going to come out and try to run over us because they're going to think that we have the ability to hurt them on the break. Whether we do or not, they're going to. And so I think the games will be very close. It's very possible they could just destroy us. They're going to hold on to the ball. Even at home, they're going to probably have the ball 60% of the time. At times, it might be 70 or 80. But we'll have the crowd behind us. And I think if we actually complete our chances, we have a chance to win at home. On the road will be just as hard. But again, Bayern's the same way. They can also kind of play like shit at home. Um, but I think everybody, with the fact of that Kane right now, I think they realize that they have the guy that's going to get them to the final. And it just depends on who they play. And I, I think it's really Harry's year. I think that he's going to do all this year. He's going to win the league. Of course, they always win. But I think he's going to get them the Champions League. And I think that would be a great thing for him. Um, we'll see. I mean, if it ends up between him and Holland in the final, it'd be interesting how that ends up. I don't want it to be. I don't want City to have another chance to win another one, but it's like Bayern has had great teams, they've had great players to play up front, but Lewandowski at the makes up. He doesn't finish it. We're not really seeing Kane have that opportunity. He did it in the Euros when he missed the penalty, but other than that, hopefully when it comes down to it, they're going to get out of the group. It's just who they get next. If they get like Barcelona in the semi or in the round of 16, or I don't know, there's nobody really. But I don't think the PSG has a chance against them. They're going to continually show. They're going to create so many chances, and I just think that Harry's going to have a lot of goals this year, and he's going to be so focused to try to do something. They know they're going to win the league, but he wants to actually get a European trophy, and I think he's going to have a really good chance. And it's going to be hard for City. I mean, they had a lot of. They're a great team, but they had a lot of luck getting to the final. Now, I'm not saying they're not the best team in the world. They might be, but sometimes with the way they play, they ain't so much better. The problem is that just City will destroy everybody that's around in Europe right now, with the exception of two or three teams that they will be able to they'll stay with him. They have really more competition in the Premiership because we understand how they play. So that's why they almost didn't win the last game. They won't go undefeated. They won't get 100 points. Um, and I think that depending on what happens in the last couple of days with the transfer thing, maybe teams will actually strengthen. I mean, Liverpool is for somehow they're got good results when they haven't played a whole hell of a lot, but they're a type of team that can go and win 10 or 15 in a row. Uh, it'll be interesting, but tell me in the comments below, what do you think about the draw? Where do you think we'll finish? Talking about Manchester United. Where do you think like City will finish if you think they're going to win it again? And do you think that Bayern Munich actually has a chance to win it this year because they have probably outside of Holland? I mean, you still might say Kane might. They're at the same level, right? They're A1, AB, what? They're AA1 or A1, whatever. They're at the top in Europe. So with that and the fact that they have the way that they play, I just think the Bayern's going to be the team that's going to be in the final. It's just whether or not they have to play City before that, and then maybe they'll get knocked out there. But I like Bayern against anybody in Europe other than Manchester City. But in one game, I think they can beat them. Let me know, and I will talk about after the transfer stuff is done. I will have a debate about this. I need to, talk about the craziest people that are continually complaining about the Glazers and all that stuff, and fine, they can do that. But this idea that we don't do anything, we've spent over 400 million pounds in the last 8 months, but apparently we're not doing anything. Just the fact that we're recording the right players, and you should never give Mount the 7 shirt. But who knows? After he comes back, maybe he'll just destroy everybody. That's all we can hope for. So I'll talk about that, and I'll talk about what I think will happen against Arsenal. Don't think we're ready at this point to play them. They lost a couple points in their last game. I don't think we have enough firepower they're going to get a couple goals at us. I just don't think we have the ability to get 3 or 4 against them. I don't think it'll be probably 2-1, 2-2. It's just whether or not Onana doesn't, if he has a great game, we have a chance to get something out of it. But, I mean, if Arsenal doesn't beat us, the season might be gone already for them as far as winning the league, because I don't think City's going to lose for a while. I think they got nobody this year. But anyway, we'll talk about it. I'm just rambling right now. So just let me know in the comments what you think about our draw, and we'll talk about that later. You guys have a good day. Bye.